process. We've learned from what the mistake that was done in the past, and we're able to attract reputable global airport operations management companies that are able to improve the airport facilities and infrastructure that we have now. It's very obvious that we need to develop and improve our aviation infrastructure as it is. We want to be the hub. We want to actually improve passenger throughput up to 60 million per annum. This would not happen with all the situations, and if we start bickering in what we actually started to do now. What we should look at objectively is what went wrong. How can we actually address those issues prior to, and then we'll do a thorough, well-guided line, and obviously address the peculiarities in our system. Because give it to, well, yes, I'm not talking to for MM2 as well. Give it to them. They've done a good job in 10 years of managing that terminal. So it's be able to see what are the flaws in the system, bring all the parties to the table, and see how we can move forward in the interest of aviation. Once we have a legal framework, once we have a due diligence done by a reputable global and well thought out transaction advisor. The minister did mention at the stakeholders meeting that there was shortlisted 3 to 4 transaction advisors. I'm looking to see who those players are. Once they are not mama and papa shops, they would actually be able to dictate what they want, and they'll be able to highlight and drive their terms of reference, which will go a long way to actually choose. Obviously, there's the political side of things. I'm not oblivious of that fact. But obviously, what I see in the long run is the fact that we'll be able to ensure that real players that have the capacity and expertise to manage our airport and drive performance and improve revenue and ensure safety and security are actually invited, and we're able to actually ensure that they play in this system.
Stakeholders have been reacting to the federal government's plan to arm aviation security personnel who are the primary security operatives at the airports with guns in the face of current terror threat. The government says it has given consideration to the abuse and influx of passengers to the restricted areas of the airport by sometimes unruly passengers, thus causing security breach, which is sensitive and dangerous in the airport environment. Some industry participants, however, believe government should tread with caution with this plan.
It's a good idea, a great one, but it needs to be properly managed. If you're going to create a squad or something that will be able to handle this ammunition and security, I think that would be a good idea.
Nigerians who desire to obtain passports must brace up for another challenge, as evidence of tax payment may be a new requirement. The executive chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Mr. Tunde Fowler, said this at the 136th meeting of the Joint Tax Board in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. Mr. Fowler said this requirement will be implemented in the very near future, that before anyone gets any services from the Immigration Department like renewal of passports, you'd have to show that you are a taxpayer. The event brought together, among others, the bosses of the Nigerian Customs Service and the Nigeria Immigration Service. On the foreign scene, German Pilots Union VC has announced further strikes at Lufthansa for the 29th and 30th of November 2016. Owing to the failure of high-level talks that took place early in the week, the latest round of strikes will affect short-haul flights mostly. Recently, Lufthansa had to cancel nearly 2,800 flights during a 4-day strike from November the 23rd that affected over 350,000 passengers, the 14th walkout, and a dispute that since early 2014 has cost the carrier hundreds of millions of euros. Lufthansa's order to increase the pilots' pay by 4.4% in 2 installments and make a one-off payment worth 1.8 months' pay. Lufthansa's offer to increase the pilots' pay by 4.4% in 2 installments and make a one-off payment. The union wants an average annual pay rise of 3.7% for 5,400 pilots over a 5-year period backdated to 2012. According to the IW Cologne Institute for Economic Research, strikes by the pilots cost Lufthansa €222 million in 2014, while in 2015, walkouts by pilots and cabin crew cost the airline €231 million. Lufthansa says it has taken another €20 million hit in the first 2 days of the recent strike. Still on the foreign scene, the United States says the license issued for Airbus to sell planes to Iran's flagship carrier is not part of a final push by the Obama administration, but a part of U.S. obligations under the Iran nuclear deal.
There's no effort, there's no Machiavellian intent here to sort of to push in any way outside the bounds of our normal commitments and obligations here in the final months of the administration. What we are committed to doing is meeting our obligations in a consistent, forthright manner, and this license that we're talking about today is one of those obligations.
Finally, on Newsflash, an American Airlines flight to Havana has taken off from Miami as the carrier started commercial flights to the Cuban capital for the first time in half a century. American Airlines staff handed travelers straw hats before they boarded the aircraft. A water cannon salute greeted the aircraft just before it took off on its milestone journey. The flight to Havana coincided with the ongoing funeral services for Cuba's former leader Fidel Castro, who died on Friday, November the 25th. The Cold War foes restored diplomatic relations 1 year ago, following a 54-year break.
When Aviation This Week returns, our feature for the week will be next. Do join us again.